Hey guys, it's Curtis. I'm back in the gym with another recovery tool video. So the folks over at TheraCup reached out to me and asked if I would like to review their TheraCup. This is cupping therapy plus EMS put together. So electrical muscle stimulation put together. I am moderately new to cupping. I did do a video before that you can watch if you click up here on an electronic cupper. I actually did like it and I do use it, not as much as I thought I would, but I do use it, especially up on my shoulder where I'm sore after my surgery. But when I had the opportunity to do cupping plus EMS, I thought, why not? I definitely like EMS. And cupping has been pretty good to me as far as recovery is concerned, so I thought I'd give it a try. Before I unbox this thing and tell you how it looks, what I think about it, I just kind of want to go over what it is. And what this is it is cupping, which goes back thousands of years, ancient Chinese methods, ancient methods of basically drawing blood to a surface, combined with EMS, which again has been used for years and years. There are not a lot of studies pointing to the actual efficacy of cupping or EMS, or at least not that I could find. But a lot of the top surgeons in the world and a lot of the top physical therapists in the world do use it, as well as a lot of the top athletes. If EMS is something that you've used before, this might be something that you would be interested in giving a try. What it does is it combines EMS with cupping, and it does it through these silicone cups as well as two sets of pads that come inside of this case. We will get to the contents of the case a little bit later, but I just wanted to cover real quick that this is cupping plus EMS, but it's also just traditional EMS. All right, so I wanted to go over the packaging real quick. So it comes in this packaging. I did open this once. There was originally like a cellophane wrapper that was over the top of it, and it is an attractive style packaging. Not that packaging really has anything to do with the actual quality of the product, but it definitely presents an appearance that's professional. Everything's very tight fit and fits nicely into this portable carrying case. Inside the carrying case, when you open it up, what you have is a charging cable. You have two sets of actual EMS pads. You have circle, like kind of small size ones that are the exact same size as the cups themselves. Additionally, you have these larger pads. And then of course you have your instruction manual, which covers the actual functioning and basically use and cleaning and care of the EMS device. Now the actual EMS portion consists of these two pucks that are connected by this cord. It does stretch pretty far, and I've been able to get across pretty much any muscle group that I want to include, going from my scap all the way down to the bottom of my lat. On the back side is a button style connection that mates up with buttons that are on the pads. So on the pads you have this button style hookup, as well as on the suction cup. On the inside of the suction cup is basically just a pass-through, and what actually happens when you put this on your skin is it draws your skin up into this cavity, which is the cupping portion, and then the electrode that's inside makes contact with your skin. These are made out of silicone, and they feel like a really nice thick silicone. They don't feel at all super delicate. I have not been gentle on these either. I've had these in my gym bag. I've brought them with me to work. I've thrown them around. I've sweat on them. I've cleaned them, and I've had no issues. The only thing that I haven't done is using these sort of essential oils on them. My wife is really big into essential oils, and I think they smell nice. However, I did create some issues with my last device after using essential oils on them. Now, these pucks do come fully charged. And the battery on them lasts a long time. I've been using them nearly every day, and when I do use them, I use them for about 30 minutes at a time. And when I use them, they definitely last. I've only discharged them twice, and I've had these for like 3 to 4 weeks now. When you have them, they connect up like this. Realistically speaking, just to give you an idea of how far they'll stretch, we'll go frame to frame here, and I'll actually measure for you. So realistically speaking, if I put the middle at 0, I can stretch this all the way to 24 inches and beyond. I can actually go a little bit further if I wanted to, 25, 26 inches, and it still comes back together. Now the cord is a little bit stretched out, but what I found is basically if you let it sit overnight, it tends to pull back into position. So real quick, I wanted to cover just quick operation. I'm going to go over the controller host, which are these pucks first. Just as a note, the cord to charge it is a USB-C, which seems like it's getting more and more standard on electronics, which is nice because there's plenty of cords available. Plus it's a very durable, it's a two-way plug. You really can't screw it up. So you have on one side, you have the power. Let's see if we can focus on this. It's kind of dark. So we have the power button as well as the plus button. And on the other controller host, we have the M button, which stands for mode, and the minus button. The plus and the minus button has everything to do with the 15 levels of intensity that are offered. And I'm telling you that you likely are not going to need all 15 levels, because for me, I usually get to around 8 to 9 and I'm good. There are 3 different modes, and to switch between the modes is really one of my only critiques of the device itself. Again, with it being a simple device, all you have to do is press and hold the power button. You'll hear an audible beep. Now the device is currently in a standby mode. You can see that you get green indicator lights on both devices. Now from here, if you wanted to switch your mode, press and hold the M or minus button, and you'll hear that button. And then when you press the power button again, you start to see this flash. Now the flashing is the only real indication that you have of what mode that you're in. From this, if you wanted to change the mode, you could press and hold the M button, and it will go into a standby mode where it's not flashing, and then press the plus button again. Now I'm in mode 3. This is what I mean by the confusing part of it. Basically, you just kind of have to play with it to realize at what speed the lights will pulsate to get the effect that you want. So again, press and hold the pause, turn it back on, that's mode 1. Press and hold the M button to pause again, press the power button, mode 2. Press and hold, plus, mode 3. When you press and hold again, it's cyclic and it goes back to mode 1. So I'm just going to put it on my wrist. I'm going to turn it off first. So it does recommend that you turn it off before you actually apply it. And actually I take it back. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go on my shoulder. To apply the actual cup, take the suction cup and you're just going to press it against your skin and squeeze. It's okay if the controller hose comes disconnected. Now, what I found is that when you squeeze this to try to draw up that suction, especially on an area where you might not have that much mass, is that it has kind of a difficult time and it creates this kind of football shape. So all that you gotta do is just kind of squeeze this direction and you'll actually feel it pull straight back up. Do want to make sure that you have a good seal with no extra air. So just take your time with this part. Again, if you don't have all of the air pulled out, it's not going to draw the skin up against the electrode and it's not going to function. So now, this is not an ideal setup, by the way. Normally when I do my shoulder, I'll do like the front, so I'll go from my pec over to my shoulder and then anterior delt down to the bottom of my lat. But just for the sake of demonstration, I'm just going to put it here because it's nice and easy to access and I don't have to reveal my bitchin' muffin top. So, applying the second one. Sometimes you get a little noise. So with applying it, there's no actual discomfort that occurs, or at least not that I have found. So now I'm going to press and hold the power button, and I'm just going to go through all 3 modes for you real quick. So again, now it's powered on. It's in standby mode. You can see that it's solid. Press it once, And I can already feel it. So this is level 1 intensity. What mode 1 is, if I was to describe it, is it is a gentle curve up. So there's the peak right there. And then it's coming right back down in intensity. Now let's change the mode. So again, press and hold the minus button, press and hold the plus button. I'm now in mode 2. I'm gonna turn it up a little bit. So mode 2 is kind of a tick, 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 dip, and then it fades down. Tick, 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 fade. And so it starts at kind of a high intensity and then kind of goes. Again, nothing that's like super uncomfortable, just something that's kind of nice. I actually really like all 3 modes a lot. The third mode that I'm going to go over, and again you can see that I'm flashing, it's a little bit faster. Press and hold minus, push the plus. Now I got a super fast flash, and I'm in mode 3. Turn up my intensity so I can describe what I'm going through. Oh! So this one, I'm going to start at the top, so right now it's cycling, is sharp jolt, and then kind of like a, and it just kind of, imagine like a really fast sine wave that's going on. Then again, sharp, sine wave going. So those are the 3 modes. And then again, I'm on level like 3 right now. So this is 8. This is actually quite a bit. That was a lot. That was a lot. So now we're on like 8 or 9, and that's jolty. That's like really jolty. So I would usually not use that level. So if you are worried that this won't have power for you, do not worry. Just as a note as well, when you hit the plus or minus button, it does reset on that current cycle and it starts back over at the top. If you're on that build-up one and you're slowly building up and you get to the peak and you decide that you want to go up in intensity, it's going to go all the way back to the beginning of the program and repeat it again. Most of the time, I found it to be really inconvenient because usually it would get to the peak and I'm like, I need like 1 to 2 extras, and I would hit it once and I'd have to wait. Now it's not that big of an issue, but just as a note for you, when you're trying to adjust this to figure out what intensity that you want, that is going to be something you experience. Now, as you run through the programming, once you let it go, it's going to run for 10 minutes, and then it's going to make an audible beep and automatically just power down. I'm not going to wait 10 minutes, but I can tell you that it is very consistent. I have timed it, and it's right. Now, because this is EMS plus cupping put together, that also means that you can use cupping and EMS independent of each other. So by taking the controller host off, what I actually have are 2 individual cupping, just cupping devices themselves. So if you wanted to, you could use this for cupping or use it in combination with another tool. Additionally, because of its design, you could theoretically do wet cupping or like blood cupping if that's something that you want to do. I don't know if it's recommended by the manufacturer, but because there's actually no electronics in this, and because this probe is sealed from the inside to the outside, so it will never get near the controller host, I really don't think you'd have too much of a problem. Don't take my word for it. I haven't tried it. I'm not sure how I feel about wet cupping yet, but it is something that you could potentially do. Another bit of sort of negative feedback that I have for this has everything to do with the removal of the cups. So with that first one, I didn't really talk about it, but I will talk about it with this one. Now, as you go to remove the cup, the best way is typically to kind of vent it and then allow it to peel off. Because of the shape of the inside of the cup, there's a very steep groove right here on the cup itself. So because of that, what I find is that when I remove the cup, it leaves a very defined line that you can see. And it's almost kind of a sharp effect that you get when you remove it. When you do go to remove these, just as long as you vent that pressure first, when you go to remove, it tends to help a little bit, but it definitely is a little bit more uncomfortable than some other devices that I've used where it has more of a rounded groove. Also included with the kit are these traditional style electrode hookups. It does take the button type, and unfortunately right now TheraCup doesn't actually sell a replacement pad at this time. But I would hope that they would in the future, because as much as they claim that you can just wash these and reuse them, there is a shelf life on the adhesive. Now on that, I have to use these on my lower body. I'm not like a caveman or anything as far as like my hairy legs are concerned. But if you have a hairy like body, if you have a hairy chest, you may find that the suction cups, the actual cupping devices themselves, won't really create a suction right there unless you use some sort of external lubrication, whether that's coconut oil, lotion, or some other rub type thing. Now the operation of the pads is the exact same as any normal pad, so you have a protective film. Make sure you keep that. We'll make it fun this time. I'll go on my wrist. So apply one pad on one side of the muscle and one pad on the other. If you are having issues with stickiness, I do recommend that you use baby wipes, and specifically use the free and clear style baby wipes. Usually they're advertised as like the for sensitive skin type of thing. But if you use those to clean your skin before you apply the pads, allowing it to dry of course before, so like wipe, wait a few seconds, apply the pads, they tend to increase the life a little bit. But like I said, I've been using this for a couple weeks now, and I'm sweaty right now, and it has applied without issue. A little bit on the side, you can see where it's maybe not sticking the best anymore, but it still functions. So again, pressing the plus button, I'm just gonna go into mode 1, and it functions the exact same as the cupping actually does. And this is fun. This is always fun. So wrists are fun to apply EMS to, because it tends to like pull my fingers and stuff. Oh. So now there are a couple things. When the battery is going dead, it's super annoying, but it definitely gets your attention. I'll play some of that video now. So that noise means that the battery is about to go dead. Now, after you plug it in using that USB-C, just keep in mind this is a 3.7 volt item. I have been plugging it into a 5 volt charger, because it doesn't come with an actual wall charger. But I've been using a 5 volt, like the one that comes with every single iPhone ever, and it's been fine, and it will blink at the rate that the battery is currently charged at. I'll play that video here. Once it is done, you'll be able to just take it off the charger and use it right away. The actual charge time does take a hot minute. It's definitely not a 15-minute charge. It definitely takes a lot of time, but the battery life itself is so good that I really don't think it's worth complaining about. So one of the last things I wanted to talk about was the carrying case that it comes in. It is very appropriately sized. I really feel like this is a nice size case, especially when you look at some of the other EMS systems, either that don't have cases or they have cases that are too frail. This is a very nice structured case. It would definitely survive in your gym bag without issue. It throws into a backpack nicely, throws into a gym bag nicely. Now, the last thing I wanted to talk about before I wrap up the video is the actual price. These are $199. You can see them in the link down below. I actually don't get any sort of commission if you guys buy these things, but there is a discount of 10% if you use code KURTLOCKER at checkout. So that brings the price down to $179. If you compare that to other EMS systems that are on the market, it's actually super comparable and not that badly priced. Additionally, you can find these button style pads available on third-party websites. As to how well they would work with this system, I can't really speak to it, but if you do a Google search, you definitely can find that style of pad somewhere else. So bottom line, would I recommend this? I actually would, and I was very skeptical at first. I was talking to one of my other gym rat friends when I first got it, and when it arrived, it just seemed kind of flimsy. I really didn't have that much confidence in it, but I gave it an honest shot, and I have to tell you that I actually really like this tool. I think it is a great recovery tool if cupping and EMS are things that you're interested in incorporating into your recovery routine. Again, $199, code KURTLOCKER saves you 10% at checkout, and you can pick yours up as well. That's been it for my video. I appreciate each and every single one of you guys that watch these reviews, and remember that when it comes to your garage gym and your recovery, you should always make it better, awesome, and of course, badass. I will see you guys next time.